All right, it is time for Tuesday Talks. I am John Robinson, your host, and happy to be here with you today. We jump right into stuff on these sessions because I know you guys are busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. Hopefully busy, not just making money. I think that's obviously the reason why a lot of people get out of bed in the morning and go to work, do the things they do. We got to make money. You got to make a living and all those things. But hopefully you're busy doing something that you're passionate about, something that you're excited about, something that is meaningful, making an impact. And for those of us on this show, most of us are involved in doing that in some way, shape, or form through the means of real estate. So real estate investing, believe it or not, a lot of people have this image in their mind when they think of real estate investing or investors. They think some kind of the big fat cat type of person that's got just money coming out their ears, and all they do is buy up houses and property that's on, sacred lands or something like that. And there's kind of this connotation in our culture of real estate investors are these really greedy people that are just taking advantage of people's bad situation or just making stuff happen. And although we understand that's certainly something that does happen, we're not going to pretend like that doesn't exist. For the most part, I have found that in my journey of real estate investing for the last 10 years now, folks, for 10 years, I've been doing this and doing it part-time, full-time. It's really been something that I've been very, very active in. And if I've experienced the exact opposite. In fact, I can't hardly think, I could probably count on one hand, maybe I'd have to get into my second hand, how many people I've personally met that fit that real estate investor stereotype. In other words, the people that were just out there taking advantage of folks. I don't believe that that's actually an accurate depiction of who it is that's, generally speaking, investing in real estate, at least on the level that a lot of us are operating on. And that's okay. I'm okay with operating on the level that I'm on. I want to go to the next level if possible. If that's the natural progression of where things go, I'm okay with that, right? You are too. But it's not like we have this desire to just be so loaded that we can just do whatever we want and we can say whatever we want. That's not where we're going with this. So I'm excited to be here with you guys because these Tuesday afternoons where we get together, we talk about real estate. I love answering your questions. If you guys have one, go ahead and throw it in the chat. I'm actually going to look over here and see. We got John Kimberling watching. Hey, John, good to see you coming out of Vancouver, Washington. And it looks like Andy's on here today with White Rock Investing. Hey, Francisco's here today. Francisco, I'm surprised that you had a chance to get off and listen to this. So Francisco is someone who's very active in in his trade and works with a lot of real estate investors. So good on you to have you here today. Now, guys, I'm going to have to mute real quickly because I've got a job site and I've got somebody calling me about this. So hang on one second and introduce yourself in the chat. Okay, I'm back. That's how it works, guys. Real life situation. We are working on several different job sites. I'm on a job site right now, and then I have another project going about 8 minutes from here, and so we've got people running in and out of that all day long. So I want to talk a little bit about what it is that I'm working on, so that you guys have an idea of what it is I'm going to be talking about soon. But first of all, before I go and talk about what I'm working on, I'll tell you a little bit about that call there in just a minute. Before I go and do that, I want you, if you're listening right now, I want you to type in the chat, type in the comments right now, say what it is that you are either working on or that you want to be working on. And I don't mean like, I want to be having 100, 1,000 units, by the time I'm, in 5 years. Okay, that's maybe possible, but let's be realistic. Talk about either what you're working on right now or what it is that you are really aspiring to do. So like, I want to flip a house, or I really want to start wholesaling, or I want to get into some buy and holds. I want to go into multifamily. Tell me in the chat what you guys are working on, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm working on right now. I want to look real quickly. John says Peggy is still very sick, and let's pray for her to get well. Yeah, I did not know that Peggy was sick. I'm sorry to hear that, and I will be definitely saying some prayers for her, and maybe even reach out to her. So Peggy, if you're watching or listening, I know you had a cough or something earlier, but I didn't know you were still not doing well. So sorry to hear that. I'm going to talk about something that has been becoming more and more of a common thread in my business. And by the way, Andy says, I want to have 1,000 units by the time I'm 30. So Andy, you're going to have to get a time machine, my friend, and go back in time and get started at maybe when you're 15. So Tanya says currently wholesaling and flipping. Very good, Tanya. That's awesome. If you're currently wholesaling, Tanya, if you don't mind, maybe we'll just talk a little bit of back and forth here. What are you doing to get leads for wholesaling and flipping? Are you co-wholesaling with someone else? Are you doing marketing? Are you doing door knocking? What are you working on? John says, I want to have a pad split house in the Phoenix area. Very cool, John. Tell us a little bit about that. Like what in the Phoenix area, like Scottsdale, you want to be in the Mesa area. Like what do you want to do? Who's your model? Like you trying to go after college students, professionals in the tech space, contractors. Tony says pre-foreclosures is my focus. Awesome. I'll tell you guys a funny little story. So yesterday, my daughter, Olivia, who is studying to get her real estate license here in Idaho, she sent me a text first thing in the morning. She said, hey, Dad, check out this property. And she sent me the pictures of all of like the notice of default. And there was an actual auction scheduled. It's supposed to be happening tomorrow for a property that's in pre-foreclosure here in the area. She's learning and she knows I'm, doing this, and, her and I, we're too much alike. So we don't really work very well together, but she's working for somebody else and she's sending me leads, which is fine. Plus she's probably got better teachers where she's at. So she sends me this text, Dad, check out this property that's going to auction tomorrow. Are you interested in this? And I was like, man, that address sounds familiar. So I went through scrolling through my phone, and sure enough, I found this same exact property. And I started looking at my text messages and some of my memory on the phone. And Which, by the way, anybody else like that, where like you have to go either to pictures in your phone and like, what was I doing in July of 2025? And I have to go back there and look at the pictures. But I went back and looked, and I have from November of last year, November of 2025, I door knocked on this pre-foreclosure, left a note, actually tracked down the other address that was connected to the property, which was a family member of the owner. Went and door knocked on their house, talked to them. It was the mother, and the mother of the gal who owned the property. So was like, yeah, my daughter needs to talk to you. And, so it's actually almost a brand new house built in 2023 or 2022. So it's almost a brand new house. And so anyway, I went back and I found all this stuff, and I had my realtor pull up a title report, and then the title report came back, and the title report was not just the pre-foreclosure debt that was owed and the amount of arrears, but there was also a bunch of other credit card debt and medical bill debt and everything that had been attached to the title of the property. And so what ended up happening is I started looking at it, I was like, it was going to be, if I tried to go after that as a pre-foreclosure due subject to, I was going to be way upside down on it. I would have had to been like close to $80,000 over and above what it was worth in today's market just to get all these other debts cleared off. So I kind of backed off of that one. But it's funny because my daughter, she said, Dad, look at this deal. So I love pre-foreclosures. I think the problem is that everybody else does too, right? So because pre-foreclosures have been popularized through the subject to model, hey, you can get into these properties with very little money out of pocket. You can borrow that money that you have to get the arrears caught up, pay the seller. I've done that. You guys have done that. And so I've done that multiple enough times to know, okay, that works, but I also know that I'm directly competing with other people in the market. In fact, here in this area, I've ran into two ladies. They're partners. One of them is the agent. The other one is the kind of boots on the ground. And they're out there. They're buying up these pre-foreclosures all the time. So we know that these things happen. We know that that there's people out there. They're actually looking for these deals. Tanya is out there looking for them. I'm looking for these. There's people that go out and knock on doors. There's people that send the flyers. There's people that market directly. And so what I what I notice is that, especially with the single family homes, there is a lot of competition for the same leads. Okay, so put a 1 in the comments if you've noticed that too. A lot of competition for the same leads. And what I mean by a lot of competition is this. A pre-foreclosure list, is that private information or is that public information? Is it private or is it public? If you didn't know the answer is it's public, right? It's public information. Why? Because the bank has to put a notice of default out there. Tanya says 1. Yes, she's noticed this. There's a lot of competition for the same leads. And so when I started really noticing this as a trend, and then John says he's working on purchasing RV parks, and then also looking for property to do a pad split in the Phoenix area. I couldn't be happier for you, John. I think that's a great area to be looking. I personally love the Arizona Phoenix market. I just like the idea of being able to go down there in the wintertime and hang out. But what I started looking at is like, okay, there's these big things that are popularized by some of these big names. So Jamil Damji, for instance, has really popularized the co-living model, right? Co-living and shared housing, rent by the room, whatever you want to call it. It's not a new concept, but it's been popularized through social media as like this, this new revolutionary way. And it's a really good concept. I just spent about 30 minutes yesterday morning talking to some investors, some folks with capital. They were looking for a traditional rental property. And I said, have you ever considered co-living? Had a really good conversation with them, explained it to them. Had a great, I think that's a great model. The problem is as some of these different things get popularized, what happens is kind of like that herd rush, right? Everybody's like, over here is pre-foreclosures. Okay, let's do subject to. And then it's like, move over here. Hey, we can do co-living. We can move over here. Let's do RV parks. And there's all this back and forth kind of shuffle that happens. And I have found that at least in my experience, that the market is saturated, and I shouldn't say like as if it's like it's overwhelmed with, but it's definitely, there's a lot more people doing real estate investing from their desktop from around the world. And as it's become popularized, guess what else has happened? The people that have big money that can buy the systems, that can use the AI bots, that can do all the CRM stuff, they've gotten involved too, because hey, it's money for the little guy, it's money for the big guy too, just more of it. And so what I've learned is that when you have these trending things going on, everybody kind of shifts in that market. And I don't know if you guys have heard the Warren Buffett advice. They asked him what's his best investing advice, and he says run out when everyone else is running in, right? And run in when everyone else is running out. And I think that that's probably oversimplified, but it's actually probably also very true. So I have found that it was difficult to get leads without actually going and spending a lot of money on marketing, or without spending a lot of time doing a lot of hustling. And so what I stumbled into accidentally, you guys have heard me talk about this, is the working with seniors as they're transitioning out of their personal residence into assisted living. And I've had a lot of people have asked me about that lately. So I'm actually going to be doing just a live conversation. We're not going to do it on a Tuesday Talks. I think I'm going to just put the word out a little bit. We're going to do it probably on an evening, or maybe even on a weekend, so people can get on and get their questions answered. But I'm going to be hosting a live, basically kind of like come and hang out and ask questions about what I've been doing. So I've been doing this now for almost 6 years. And what I have found is that these leads, working with seniors, are the best leads in the market. So I am going to be doing a kind of a live hangout. We're going to answer questions. There's nothing to sell. In fact, I'm going to be giving stuff away for free. I've got my mini course, Tanya, you'll be happy to hear this. I've got my mini course just about finished up, and I've got enough of it finished to where I can drop episode 1. And so I'm going to be dropping episode 1, module 1 of my mini course on this. It's professionally recorded and edited. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I have to say this. When you make something and when you film something, a lot of times your tendency after it's all said and done is to go, oh man, that's kind of lame. Like, oh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have done that. This is not me bragging you guys, because you guys know, like, I have my need for compliments and my need for affirmations is very low. Like, I don't need anybody's approval to do what I do. Okay. So don't make it sound like I'm fishing for compliments here, but I've been watching these things as I've been editing them and working with the editors. And I'm like, this is really good. Like I've been thinking that about my own product. Okay. So, and I say that not to boast, because a lot of it is in the editing, by the way, but I've been saying that because I'm sitting there going, like, I wish I would have had this when I started doing this 6 years ago, because it's so much, there's so much good information, and I would have made the switch a lot sooner than I would have, than I did if I would have actually just had the right kind of information. Because frankly, when I first started working with seniors, I wasn't really sure about it. I was like, I don't know about this. This is kind of awkward. Am I going to have family members get upset with me? I thought, are people really going to actually trust me to do this? There was a lot of doubt that I had when I first started. And the more that I've done this, not only I've seen more and more leads and stuff, and I've gotten a lot more deals, but I'm also convinced more and more that this is something that anybody can do, with one caveat. Okay, I should say 2. Okay, anybody can do this. Anybody can get these leads in the senior space if you can meet these 2 following pre-qualifications. Number 1, this is the utmost important thing. You have to be an honest person with high integrity. Okay, I'm just going to say that. You have to be a person that is honest and has a high level of integrity. If you don't have integrity, the working in the senior space, for a variety of other reasons I can't get into today, but just believe me when I say this, you will be sniffed out and you will be chased out. Okay. It's not like just general real estate investing where people are like, we don't really care as long as you get the deal done, right? I'm in proof foreclosure. If you can help me, then great. I don't care what kind of person you are. It doesn't work like that in the space of working with seniors. There's an expectation that you are going to be honest. You're going to have a high level of integrity. And if you come across as someone who's shady or cutting corners or doing things kind of willy-nilly, then the industry itself, the whole kind of genre, this niche of seniors and the senior professionals, they will chase you out, okay? And you'll actually get a bad name in your local area very quickly. And so that's caveat number one. Caveat number two is you have to be able to just follow a simple process, okay? If you're the kind of person that just loves to complicate things, and the more complex it is, well, this seems too simple, let's go and add this, let's go and add that. If you're that kind of person, this is not going to work for you, right? So if you can at least say, I can follow simple instructions and I am an honest person, then I promise you this lead source, this working within the ranks of the senior space, is something that will absolutely work for you. Why do you say, well, what about the real estate acumen, the knowledge? Listen, I know that this sounds kind of crazy, but believe it or not, you guys can get a contract from anywhere. You guys can get, I'll let you guys in a little secret. Drop a 2, the number 2 in the comments if you would like to know what kind of contract I use when I'm working with seniors. Drop a 2 in the chat. Just put a 2 in the chat if you'd like to know. I want to see if there's actually any interest in this. I want to see if you guys actually know. Like, because I mean, obviously everybody is always like, well, what kind of contracts are you using and all these things. And so, people are curious about this, thinking that this stuff is super complicated. If you guys want to know what kind of a contract I use, it's kind of crazy. Tanya says 2. I see over on the Instagram side, hey, Peggy's with us. Peggy says 2. Peggy, we hope you're feeling better. We're going to pray for you. And we were sorry that you're not feeling good. I'm really bummed about that. I didn't realize you were still sick. So if you guys want to know what kind of contract that I use when I'm working with seniors, get ready for it. Drum roll, please. I use a simple state real estate contract, just a blank template that I just go fill in the blank. It's that simple. It's literally the same exact contract that they would use if they were working with a real estate agent. So get this, my contract is not complicated. These deals are not complicated. The most important part is being someone with integrity, someone who's honest, and then someone who actually can follow simple instructions. Because if you get a trust and you establish that trust and that relationship up front, then on the back end, you can get answers to any real estate question. That's, I mean, first of all, the folks that are working with me, they're in my training group that I do, and this is not something we publish. Haven't done a lot of advertising. It's not like I go out and market this, but about 1.5 years ago, I put out the word to the PDX REI group, and a handful of people were like, yeah, I'd like to learn that. And so we've been training, we've been doing this. The people that I would say it's about 75% of the people in the group were really not real estate investor people. They obviously had an interest in real estate, but they joined the group, did the thing that I told them to do. And then it's like, oh, hey, I got this lead and it looks like it's a really good one. What do I do? Well, now we go through the process of actually getting the contract signed, making sure we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. But the point I'm trying to make here is that sometimes people overcomplicate it by thinking about all of the other stuff that's super not important. And they neglect doing the basic thing, which is establishing rapport and trust. I like what Andy just said here in the comments. He said, I just enjoyed chatting with a pretty active 90-year-old couple in Safeway parking lot 30 minutes ago. 90-year-old couple, and they're still out there active. Not ready yet, but need some handyman help. There you go. There's, you guys, I love being able to say, listen, I don't think that you're ready to sell yet. I think you should try to live in your house as long as you can. But when the time comes and they have to sell, that's when we want to be ready. And I call it the transition position, right? You work yourself into a position to where when they're ready to make that move, that's when you step in and you actually have the answer, you have the solution for them. And you get these leads not through any AI outreach or cold calling or social media stuff. It's literally just positioning yourself to be the person that they automatically think of when the time comes. So I love this model. I actually like not having to do cold calling. I've done it before. I want to say this. I'm probably pretty good at it, to be honest. I just hate the time that it takes. I do not want to sit. I can't afford to sit. I got too much other stuff going on in life and business to be sitting on a phone for 2-4 hours a day making cold calls, right? So I don't like doing that just so I can get leads. I don't like driving for dollars because gas right now is too expensive to go wasting any, even a drip of it, right? I don't like doing text blasts where I might get sued and have to pay somebody $15,000-$20,000 just to get them to drop the lawsuit because their name was or their phone number was on a list that somehow or another didn't get picked up on my CRM. I don't want to do that. I've seen that happen to real people in real life in some of my networks and communities. I don't want to do that. And so when you think about the ways that most people, whether it's door knocking, whether you're spending a bunch of time driving for dollars and gas, whether you're doing texting blasts or cold call, or you're hiring a cold calling team, or what's the other option? You could go online and do marketing, do direct marketing through Meta or through Facebook, or Google or Instagram. Every one of those costs money and time, and you have to arrange the leads and you have to have a CRM and follow up. Because when you market in volume, guess what happens? You get a lot of responses, and not all those responses are good. So you have to go through it and filter it out. I've done all of this, you guys. That's why I'm saying from personal experience, it is absolutely incredible how this lead source produces leads coming in on a consistent basis without me chasing them at all. So anyway, I say all that to say I'm going to be doing a live where we talk about this. I'm going to be kind of showcasing a deal that I'm working on right now, the deal that I just got that phone call about, where I've got people out there working right now. We're getting bids. We've already coordinated, got the sellers out. I'm going to be talking about how that lead came in, what we did when we got it, how this whole process works. And I've kind of categorized it as there's usually, there's really three, I call it the 3 Ps, right? There's the problem, the pivot, and my promise. Okay, so we're going to talk about the problem. We're going to talk about the pivot that I made, and we're going to talk about the promise that I can make. And we're going to be doing that whenever I do my live stream. So if you guys are interested, while you're watching right now, if you're interested in getting the link to that, where I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about this, we're going to hang out, I'm going to answer questions. If you're interested in that, comment the word niche, N-I-C-H-E. Put the word niche in the comments, and I'm going to be getting you the link to that. It's going to be happening sometime this week. And during that call, when we do this, it's just going to be a Zoom call. During that call, for those who are active, who are answering questions, who are asking questions, I'm actually going to be giving away some prizes, including the first episode for that's immediately available right now. And we're going to be giving that out to anybody that sticks on with us through the end of the cold call. The end of the group call. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a good thing. So if you guys are interested in that, put niche in the comments. Let me go back and look at the comments. Speaking of this, John says, I never thought of this, but my union has a group of retirees that do a meeting every month, collaborating on everything we deal with in retirement. This would be perfect for you to come. Yeah, I'd love to do that, John. I have found that, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this specifically on my group hangout call that we're going to do. But there's a reason why I don't do a ton of networking. You'd think that it'd be a good place to go and network with seniors, right? And I'm going to talk to you guys about the very specific reason why I don't spend a lot of time networking in the senior groups. It seems totally counterintuitive, but I promise you, if you join the call, once you hear me explain it, you're going to understand. So let's look down here. Thomas says, okay, we got some niche. Everybody's saying niche. Perfect. You guys, just if you comment niche, I will be going back through it. I'll be sending you the link, or still setting up the Zoom link, but I think it's going to be Saturday is when we're going to do it. So I am going to record it. I am going to make that recording available for people that actually signed up and registered to come. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, comment niche, and I'll be getting the link out there. Speaking of this current deal that I'm working on right now, contract price, what we've agreed that, and this is the way I structure it is really simple. I just basically say, hey, I can buy the property cash. I can get the property listed, conventional listing, or we can do something creative. I call it my 3C offer. Okay. So cash, conventional, or creative. And what's cool about the way that I make this proposal, by the way, I do tend to call it a proposal, but for what's cool about doing the 3C proposal is one of the options that I have that I give them is going to be an option that they go with. They need to sell the property. It's almost impossible that at least one of these is not going to work for them. Okay. And so I give them this proposal. They go through it. They're like, hey, this one sounds pretty good. We like this one. And whenever we move forward, there's a whole series of things that happen. But what ends up happening is they get the senior couple, the senior individual, or their family members, they get treated like royalty. Okay, that's one of the things that I teach, and that's one of the things that I really emphasize. We are going to take care of these people, and it's actually not you having to do every single bit of it yourself, but having a couple of people that are already in that space. And I teach how to actually connect with them and how they can actually do some of the heavy lifting. And it's actually a resource lead for them. It's really, really cool. But you end up getting the spotlight as the hero because you just take care of these folks. And that's what they need. They need someone to come alongside them, someone to care for them, someone to help them through this process. So I am going to be talking about these things and more. I'm going to be answering questions. I'm just curious. For those of you that commented niche, what is one question that you would ask on the call? What's something that you would really want to know? Something that you really like? Okay, I've been hearing about this. I want to know. Maybe I'll do like a little sneak preview and I'll answer some questions on today's call. I've got a few more minutes left before I need to jump off in my next meeting. But what's a question that you would ask me if you could say, okay, John, tell me what the deal is. How does this all work? What would you ask? What do you want to know? Tell me what you're looking to know, and I might be able to answer it. John says in that meeting thing that he does, there's usually over 100 members in this meeting. So very cool. John, I'm curious, is that an in-person event typically, or is it just a Zoom thing, or is it a little combination of both? So let me know about that. You guys, let me know what your question would be. What's the question that you have when you're saying, okay, I'm interested, right? What's this whole thing about working with seniors? What's one of the questions that you would probably ask if you could? And I am going to be looking at the comments here. Okay, so John says, no, it's a combo. Okay, so it's a combination. That's good. That's actually a good format. And I'd be happy to present do they have a regular scheduled meeting that they do, or is it something that that they are, just maybe John, you can maybe send me a DM or something and let me know a little bit more about that. And I'd be happy to come in and speak for you. So, okay, I'm going to check over on the Instagram side, see if there's any comments. Nobody's got any questions over here yet. Guys, we're just doing our live stream right now. We're answering questions. If you have questions about this, please let me know. If you don't have a question right now, start thinking about what questions you want to ask, because I want to do a hangout with you guys that are interested and find out. Okay, so John says it's every third Thursday. Hey, John, I'm going to be in town depending on what time it is in the month of May, because we already have kind of an event planned that we're doing with some of the folks that I've trained in this space. We're going to be doing an event in Beaverton on Thursday morning, but depending on what time it is, I might be able to make that work on Thursday. So we'll have to get some more information. Of course, third Thursday is our normal monthly meetup too. So if you guys are in the Portland area, we are going to be having our monthly meetup. I've confirmed the space is available. We've got it locked in. And that's something that we are going to be doing this month. And if you're in the Boise area, the first Thursday of the month, coming right up next week, a week from tomorrow night, is when we're going to be doing that. Okay. John says, what kind of home will these people be transitioning to? That's a great question. So, John, the answer is all kinds. Okay. So everybody mostly has this connotation, this idea of like a place that seniors go to live is what's called an old folks home or a nursing home. And frankly, the that whole connotation, or even using those words, is not appropriate, right? In today's environment, obviously we don't say old folks home, and even a nursing home has a particular connotation of people just kind of in a vegetable state. Believe it or not, the independent living places, some of the independent living communities all around you guys, if you ever get a chance to just go into one, you'll find that some of the independent living communities in Portland and Boise, all around the country, there's some of the nicest places that you could possibly live. I mean, very beautiful, especially the newer ones, upscale, very, very friendly. They have great food. They have live entertainment. So independent living, or as it's called, IL, is one of the places that folks go. Then, of course, there's AL, there's assisted living. And then, of course, there's memory care. There's places for caring for dementia. There's places that where they call it high acuity, where they need to have maybe a higher level of care. And then John just said, is it a co-living home? Well, the truth is, it's really up to the people that are making the move, right? So it's up to them and where they're wanting to go, where they're needing to go is another factor. How these folks that I'm working with right now, frankly, they really shouldn't be driving any longer. But there's this strange interim state where, they moved into assisted living, but they still have a pretty high level of independence, but they also shouldn't be driving because reaction times are greatly diminished, and they've also gotten lost a couple of times. And so, everybody's at a different level. Okay, so there's usually what's done is called like an assessment. So where are they at before they move out? Where are they at mentally? Where are they at financially? Where are they at health wise? Do they need help? Do they need assistance? Do they need 24-hour clock around the clock? There's all kinds of different things that factor in. So the good news is, with the model that I'm doing, it really doesn't matter to me where they're going. I just want to help them get there. Okay, so my transition position method allows them to get to where they're going much, much faster. Okay, so that, I don't know if that answers your question entirely, John. They certainly could go to a co-living home, a senior co-living home. But you would have to, you'd have to kind of, again, a lot of these people are needing some level of care. So that may not necessarily be a great solution for them. But that's a broad brush is what I'm saying. Oh, Tanya has a great question. Let's see here. Tanya says, how do you convince the connector to connect you with the seniors? Tanya, right there is the secret sauce. Okay. That is the secret sauce. And, I will have to say this, Tanya, we're going to have to, you're going to have to wait until the call that we do, because that question right there is a very, very good question. And I'm going to be answering that only in a private session. So we're not going to do this, this thing that we're doing. We're not going to do it broadcast live stream, but I will be talking about that, Tanya. So be sure that you don't miss it. I think Tanya is thinking about it. She's like, okay, how do I get connected to these people? So very, very good question. And I will be answering that in our private session. If you want access to that, make sure you drop the word niche in the comments. Okay, anybody else? Any other questions coming in? John says it'll be 10 to 2. Okay, that's for the meetup that he's doing. I don't know if I can do that because we are going to be doing the special event that we're doing in May. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I think that particular third Thursday, we're going to be doing a special event on that morning of the third Thursday. Tony says, can't wait. Yeah, sorry to leave you with the cliffhanger there, but I can't share that publicly. That's something that you have to be internally on, just because it is sensitive information. And this goes back to what I said. If you are an honest person with integrity, you won't have a problem. But if I start sharing you where some of these connections come from, and then everybody kind of just goes running toward that, first of all, it's going to set me back because I don't want to be, having a bunch of competition. But the other thing is like, I don't want to have the opportunity closed down because there's a whole bunch of investors just rushing to a lead source. So you really have to actually be the right kind of person and then position yourself in a very, very particular way. And I'll talk about that a little bit. So John says we take summers off, so maybe next September. Yeah, there you go. That might work too. Tyrone says, how do we get into working with seniors and what do I have to do to work with them? Okay, Tyrone, come to our session and we are going to be answering that. So that's a great question, and we're going to be talking about that during our little get together. So make sure you comment niche. I think I saw you, Tyrone, and I know that you know how to get a hold of me too, but I think I've seen everybody in there. So guys, I'm going to wind it down. It looks like our questions are kind of tapering off. If you had a question, you wanted to ask it, feel free to do so. But if you want to get access to, I'm going to do a Zoom hangout where I'm just going to hang out. I'm not selling anything. Don't worry about getting locked into some kind of a funnel or a sales pitch. Not going to be doing that. But I am going to be giving away for a couple of people, and there's going to be some qualifiers. You have to come. But I am going to be giving away the first session. So the first session of my recent micro course, mini course, whatever you want to call it, that I did specifically about working with seniors. So I've recorded it. I actually did a recording session down here in Eagle, Idaho. at a professional recording studio. It turned out great. I'm telling you guys this, not at all to brag, because again, I don't need to, but even I have been impressed with how well this turned out. So if you guys want to get a chance to get access to that, I'm going to be giving that away as a free gift, but you have to comment niche either on the Facebook or the YouTube or Instagram, and I will be getting back to you guys. And if I see your comment, if I see you say niche on there, then I will be getting back to you and telling you a little bit about how I'm doing this. So hands down, absolutely, without a doubt, the best leads that I've dealt with in the last 6 years. Everything that I've done, pre-foreclosure, it doesn't matter if it's, estate deals, inheritance, probate. I've done it all, you guys. I promise you this. These are the best leads. They're highly motivated. They need to sell. They have to sell. And anyway, it would be worth coming out to. So John says, can I invite a guest to chime in on the Zoom? John, just give them the link whenever we actually get signed up. Whenever I get the link out to you guys, just share the link with them, and then that way they can come out and check it out too. So again, this is not some kind of a sales event. This is just me going to be talking about it. So, hey, Matt, good to see you, man. We need to get together. Matt's right here in the Boise area. I think he's either in Meridian or Eagle. So, Matt, we need to get together. And by the way, I think you've already been on there, but we are going to be having our meetup on the first Thursday in Meridian coming up soon. So, guys, I've got to run. I've got some appointments. I'm going to run over to the project we're working on right now here in Garden City. And if you guys are interested, like I said, if you know somebody who'd be interested in the senior space that I'm working in, I want to talk about it. I want to answer questions. I just need to do it in kind of a closed quarters room so that we're not broadcasting this all over the whole internet, because some of it is sensitive information. So I will be talking to you guys soon. I'm going to be doing this live meetup or hangout event. We're going to do it on Zoom. I'm probably going to be doing it on Saturday. I haven't nailed down the time yet, but it'll probably be Saturday. And yes, there will be a replay in case you don't get to hang out with us live. But come live, because I want to be able to answer your questions. All right. Comment niche, and I will see you guys soon. God bless you. Have a good rest of your day. And we will see you when we see it. Take care.